Having withdrawn the resolution, we are going to introduce the resolution.
Affirmative from South Africa's ambassador after confusion about whether they were still pressing ahead with their alternative text.
Starting with the Africa group itself, they have clearly said that they want a resolution that focuses on humanitarian action, on humanitarian response, and not a resolution that focuses on the politics or trying to explain where the war started, the reasons for war, but they want to focus on humanitarian response. And this is the resolution that they identify with. And that was the whole reason why South Africa introduced this resolution. We believe that the very first session, because this is a continuation of the last session, there was focus on the politics of the Russian special military operation.
Ukraine spoke first in the special session after all but rejecting the South African draft, when in this tweet it called on member states to support the Mexican-French draft, which makes clear reference to Russia's responsibility.
While clearly pointing to the root cause of the humanitarian catastrophe, it is an action-oriented text that places the main focus on the urgent needs to alleviate the humanitarian suffering on the ground. Immediate cessation of hostilities by the Russian Federation, in particular any attacks against civilians and civilian objects, protection of civilians including humanitarian and medical personnel, journalists, persons in vulnerable situations, foreign nationals, notably students, ensuring safe and unhindered passage for all civilians fleeing armed conflict and violence, putting an end to the practice of sieges of cities of Ukraine, in particular the city of Mariupol.
South Africa's text received a full-throated endorsement from Russia that plans to introduce its own humanitarian resolution in the Security Council later Wednesday as well, in a vote expected to receive very little support.
Against the backdrop of anti-Russian efforts of our Western colleagues, we note the initiative of our partners from South Africa, who submitted an alternative text, actually very close to our humanitarian draft resolution at the Security Council. We understand the humanitarian focus of this draft. Colleagues, supporting the draft of the South Africa is not only a signal to the civilians in Ukraine that the UN is aware of the difficult situation they find themselves in and is trying to help them. It is also another opportunity to take a stance on the unprecedented economic and political pressure that the majority of you have been receiving in recent times from Western countries. I'd like to hope that the majority of our colleagues will make the correct and crucially independent choice.
What does this look like in the days ahead? We pressed the South African ambassador on the level of support for their draft, given that the alternative text has more than 70 co-sponsors already.
South Africa has always been of the view that this engagement, this open engagement, and we are still open to engagement, and we will continue to seek consensus, because that's what we want, consensus on. Let me make it very clear, with the humanitarian action, you want consensus. And South Africa wants humanitarian action. That's the first thing. We want humanitarian response. It is urgent, and it must happen now. And it must have the support of all member states, as many countries as possible.
The GA Special Emergency Session continues ahead of votes on competing drafts in the days ahead. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.